Alright, so let's talk about a little bit of Chapter 13 stuff. Now, I mentioned in the slides too, Chapter 13, I did not want to make Chapter 13 an enormous part of our coverage for Exam 3. So the numerical questions I asked from Chapter 13 will probably be some of the simpler ones, if I even do that, like numbers 1 and 2. But I don't even know if I will ask on the exam a question like number 3 or number 4. But just because I assigned it, and I think it'd be unfair to assign it and not give you any sort of clue as to what's going on, I'm going to do number 3 here with you. And again, life insurance is an important topic, but I'm probably more of the questions I'll ask about life insurance on the exam will probably be more conceptual in nature from our slides. I might ask 1 or 2 math questions. If so, they'll probably be simpler ones. Might I ask one like number 3? It's possible. I might do one, but the main reason I'm shooting this video is because it's a lot of information like in number 3, and I just want to kind of talk you through the thought process here. So this says, Peter is married, has 2 children, wants to be sure that he has sufficient life insurance to take care of his family if he dies. His wife's a homemaker but attends college part-time pursuing a law degree. It will cost approximately $40,000 for her to finish her education. Since the children are teenagers, Peter feels he will only need to provide the family with income for the next 10 years. He further calculates that household expenses run approximately $35,000 per year. The balance on the home mortgage is $30,000, and Peter set up a college fund for his children when they were babies. And concluding up here. And it currently contains funds for them to attend college. Assuming Peter's wife can invest insurance proceeds at 8%, calculate the amount of insurance Peter needs to purchase. Did you catch all of the little things they did in this problem to make it easier? I know it seems complicated and long, but it's actually, there's been a number of setups in here to make this doable, so it's not really that bad. One of them is that the children's college stuff is already taken care of, so that doesn't need to be addressed explicitly here in the problem. But the other big one is Peter's wife is a homemaker now, but she's going to college and going for her law degree, and the kind of the underlying thing here is, well, she's not providing any income now, but she will provide in the future, so you don't need to worry about her income situation past her graduation from law school. She'll be able to take care of that herself. So we're easily able to just kind of get by her situation and just say, well, if we can make it through the next 10 years with the kids and stuff, then we're not going to worry too much about her. She's going to be a lawyer after this. And on top of that, that stuff with the college fund up there. Okay, so this is page 392 and 93. So what do you have to worry about? Well, you've got some one-time expenses here. All right, we got chapter. All right, so I'm doing chapter 13. We got the mortgage balance is down to $30,000. That's good, but that needs to be paid off. And that's why we don't buy that mortgage insurance crap I was talking about, that mortgage life insurance crap I was talking about during our slides. We just buy enough life insurance to pay off the mortgage. So that, plus her law school education, $40,000 more. Those are one-time expenses. Plus $35,000 a year, okay, for 10 years. Now, the worst case scenario would, in terms of needing income, would be that he would die tomorrow, right? And if that was the case, he'd need to have the life insurance to pay this 30 and this 40. There'd be no other source for that. This 70,000, and the worst case scenario for the annual living expenses, $35,000 for each year, 10 years. That's the worst case scenario, which is what we're going to budget this around. Is all of this right now plus $35,000 a year for 10 years. Well, you could just multiply 35,000 times 10 and get 350, add it to 70 and say 420,000, but they give you one other piece of information here in this problem, and it says, right, that there's my camera. And it says Assuming Peter's wife can invest the insurance proceeds at 8%, calculate the amount of insurance Peter needs to purchase. That's not an accident, that 8%. What they're telling you is if he does die tomorrow in this worst case scenario, then you can invest whatever your insurance policy is, and you'll be able to pay these $35,000 a year, okay, for the next 10 years, but you'll be making 8% on whatever was insured. So what you can really do here is say, oh, well, I need to pay $35,000 a year for each of the next 10 years. The interest rate is 8%. Okay, what's the present value of what I need today? And it's going to be less than $350,000. So he doesn't have to pay quite as much or buy quite as much life insurance. Okay, there's 10 years, 8%. The annuity amount is they need to spend $35,000. So how much would they have at the start if they can invest it at 8%? $234,852. So $234,852 and 85 cents. That's what he'd have to have. That's what the widow would have to have today, that if she could invest it at 8% in order to withdraw $35,000 a year and pay for these expenses, plus the $70,000 on top of that, makes for $304,852.85 of life insurance that he should buy. And of course, if he lives longer and doesn't die tomorrow, then he wouldn't need as much, but that's the worst case scenario. That basically matches up here with the answer from our solutions, which as always are posted online. But the book, of course, is using the factors. The solution is using the factor from the book. I was more accurate and I used the calculator, so I'm off by $2 whole. I promise you, you need to use your calculator on the exam. But again, I'm not so sure that I'll even ask one of these. I just wanted to give you the exposure so that you knew where the thought process was coming from when I did that. As always, there's some explanation posted with all these solutions as well, but I wanted to talk you through one of them so it didn't seem completely crazy. I'm going to do a quick 14 stuff and we'll call it a week.